everyone, I have a really exciting table to share with you, and I just found this morning. I actually couldn't get over the fact that October was not coming up in the Bible codes, and this is the same thing that happened when I was doing my Bible code on America. I couldn't get over the fact that America wasn't coming up, and I had thought of spelling America with a K, and sure enough it came up that way. And it's very clear that it's definitely talking about America, because it says, "Woe is me that I sojourn in Meshech." And we're finding out now where Meshech is, which is where Gog comes from. And we're finding out now who Gog is based on Nathan's testimony, which I believe will be proven to be true very, very soon. But I just want to show you some other examples where God has spelled things phonetically. And I just want to show you this. This is the actual table. I just pulled it up just now. But when I was doing my April Bible code, I had actually seen this spelling for the word Messiah right here, which is actually what tipped me off to try putting in the word Messiah, which came up, sure enough, in that table. But God had spelled it phonetically first in the table, which is what made me even think of putting the word in when I had pulled that one up. And then over here in the Satan seed table, where you have the word seed, and then you have Obama and Satan meshed in together, and it all looks like a DNA strand. And then right next to it you have the letters DNA. Well, right next to the letters DNA you had a word that looks like Manhattan. And at the time I didn't even realize that the Twin Towers were in Manhattan. I knew Manhattan was in New York and the Twin Towers were in New York, but I didn't really make the connection until I had pulled up some images of Manhattan. I'll go ahead and show you those images right now. Okay, so I just put in Manhattan Twin Towers, and as you can see, when you pull up those images, it looks like two DNA strands, and then with the One World Freedom Tower, it looks like two that have been joined together, just like you see here with the intertwining of the words Obama and Satan merged in with the word seed, how it looks like it's twisted together. And then that's what two DNA strands look like once they're twisted together. And amazingly, you have a word that looks just like Manhattan spelled phonetically right next to the letters DNA. And so that's just proof that God spells things phonetically in the Bible code sometimes. He doesn't want to make everything too easy for us. And so I knew October had to be in there. So I thought of spelling it Octobre, which is how you say it in Spanish, as well as most other languages. In fact, I think it's pretty much half and half. Half of them will have the R right next to the B, and some will not. But phonetically, that's how you would spell October. And so sure enough, it came up. And what's amazing is the matrix that came up. And I'll just show you what it looks like when you just put October in and nothing else. When you just put in the word October, the verse that comes up pretty much tells you what this is all about. It's about the birth of the holy nation. Over here it says, this is coming up in Galatians 4:27, and it says, "For it is written, Rejoice thou barren that bearest not, break forth and cry thou that travailest not, for more are the children of the desolate than of her that hath the husband." And this is talking about Mount Zion giving birth, and I'll just show you that scripture. Okay, and I'm just going to start from over here, verse 666, because this is the reason. Over here it says, "A voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of the Lord that rendereth recompense to his enemies." This is the whole reason that the Lord is going to come back. And it's saying, before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. For who hath seen such a thing? Who hath seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Shall I bring to the birth and not cause to bring forth, saith the Lord? Shall I cause to bring forth and shut the womb, saith thy God? Rejoice ye, Jerusalem, and be glad with her, all ye that love her. Rejoice for joy with her, all ye that mourn for her. And this is exactly what's coming up in the Matrix. This is what Paul was referring to when he stated that quote from the scriptures. He said, for it is written, rejoice, thou barren. And the word Zion means barren or desolate, and I'll just show you that. Over here you see that Zion means a parched place, and I'll just show you the definition for parched. It's saying to make extremely, excessively, or completely dry, as heat, sun, and wind do. So it's completely dry and desolate. I'll show you some synonyms for parched. Okay, over here it says arid, scorched, withered, shriveled, dried up, dry as dust. And over here it has the word barren, and I'll just show you synonyms for that. Okay, you see arid, desolate, parched. Okay, so this is what Paul was referring to when he mentioned this quote from the scriptures. He was referring to Mount Zion. And I'll go ahead and read the Matrix. I'm not sure if all of it's going to be relevant, but I'll just try to read it real quick. It says, but I could wish to be present with you now and to change my tone, for I am perplexed about you. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do you not hear the law? For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons, one by the handmaid and one by the free woman. Howbeit the son by the handmaid is born after the flesh, but the son by the free woman is born through promise. Which things contain an allegory, for these women are 2 covenants, one from Mount Sinai bearing children unto bondage, which is Hagar. Now this Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth to the Jerusalem that now is, for she is in bondage with her children. But the Jerusalem that is above is free, which is our mother. For it is written, rejoice thou, barren, that bearest not, break forth and cry, thou that travailest not, for more are the children of the desolate than of her that hath a husband. Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are children of promise. But as then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the Spirit, so also it is now. Howbeit, what saith the Scripture? Cast out the handmaid and her son, for the son of the handmaid shall not inherit the son of the free woman. Wherefore, brethren, we are not children of a handmaid, but of the free woman. For freedom did Christ set us free. Stand fast, therefore, and be not entangled again in a yoke of bondage. Okay, so you see it's talking about the child of the barren and the desolate, and that's what Mount Zion means. It means parched place. And so I'll just read the scripture again in Isaiah 66, because it's exactly what Paul is talking about in Galatians. It says, before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. Who hath heard such a thing? Who hath seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. And this is talking about a holy nation, and I'll show you what the holy nation is that's being talked about here. Okay, in 1 Peter 2:9 it says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of the darkness and into his marvelous light. So that's the holy nation that's going to be born that's talked about in Isaiah 66, and the mother is Mount Zion. And that's actually what's being depicted here in Revelation 12:1, or actually 12:1 through 5. It says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne." And the word "caught up" is the word arpazo in the Greek. You see that right here. Arpazo. And this is the same word that was used by Paul in 1 Thessalonians 4:17. "Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord." And so the imagery that's being represented here in Revelation 12 is actually this imagery right here, as you can see with the constellation Virgo. This is today's date, October 3rd, and you see that the woman is clothed with the sun. It looks like she's just given birth to Venus, because I've shown how right around the 15th and 17th, Venus was right here in the pelvis, and it's moved since then to over here. And now you see that the moon is almost by the feet of Virgo. It's actually not quite by the feet of Virgo just yet. And I'll just show you when it will actually be by the feet of Virgo. You have to move this up a few hours. And let's see how many we can go. Okay, you see over here at 22 hours and 20 minutes, it's still by the feet. Actually, even if you go all the way to the next day, which I'm not sure if it's going to work now because I moved the hours ahead, but it goes all the way to October 4th. You can see it's still close to the feet, but you probably don't want to go that many hours ahead if you're going to do October 4th. So you see over here, it's still at the feet of Virgo. So sometime between today and tomorrow, it'll still be at the feet of Virgo. I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I'm just saying that it'll still be by the feet of Virgo for a few hours yet to come. And I've talked about before how there's always 12 stars in Virgo's head. There's different configurations that people have done. Here's one where they've used 12 stars to make a garland around Virgo's head. And then there's this one right here, which was done by Professor Thorley, and I'll show you another image of this as well. This one's a little bit bigger, but you can see that there's a star in Virgo's head that's actually numbered 57779. And this HIP here is actually an abbreviation for the name of the satellite that was launched back in 1989 and operated until 1993. And all these star names were given based on that satellite. So this name was given a long time ago. But the 12 stars represent the nation of Israel, and more importantly, they represent the holy nation of Israel, which would be Mount Zion, which is who is giving birth here, where it says, for as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. And I'm about out of time, so I'm going to have to continue in the next video. Thanks.